Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland. Titans fans, on today's show, Locked On Titans goes Vegas. That's right, we're going to be breaking down the Tennessee Titans from a gambling perspective. I'm going to be talking about the Titans over-under, how to bet that, their odds to win the Super Bowl, win the AFC, or just win the AFC South. We're also going to be looking at some player props that I like for the Titans this year. So a guide to betting the Tennessee Titans in 2022 on today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. Let's get it.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Titans fans, it is a gambling edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. If you're a Tennessee Titans fan out there that likes to put a little skin in the game, well, this is the show for you. Like I said, we're going to be talking the Titans over-under win total. We're going to be talking their odds to go to the Super Bowl, win the AFC, win the division, looking at some player props as well. We're going to start with that over-under total. That's one of my favorite things to bet. Before we dive into it, though, do want to thank you guys for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen every day. If this is your first ever listen to the Locked On Titans podcast, make sure you subscribe on whatever platform you do stream. You're going to find the Locked On Titans podcast free and available on all platforms, and that includes the Locked On Titans YouTube channel. Subscribe there, smash the notification bell, throw a thumbs up on the video if you're watching right now. You can find me on social media, on Twitter, at TicTacTitans for all my film breakdowns and things like that, and the show Facebook page at Locked On Titans Pod. But with all that being said, do want to remind you guys, next week we are back to 5 days a week here on the Locked On Titans podcast. I got some talent tiers, ranking the roster and how talented everybody on the Titans roster is and what categories they go into. We're going to have positional previews before training camp kicks off in 10 days or so. I mean, football season is here, folks. Make sure that you are locked in to the Locked On Titans podcast. But let's talk about this over-under total for the Titans. Pretty much every website, including BetOnline.net, has the Titans at 9.5 over-under. So will they win more than 9 games? Will they win 9 games or less? That is essentially the question. And what I find interesting here is that the odds are in Vegas, they believe that the Titans will go under. Odds for under is minus 125. You'd have to bet $100 or $125 to win 100. The over is plus 105. So you bet $100, you win $105. So Vegas is saying they think the Titans will go under, and I think that provides a little bit of value. So let's just look at the Titans schedule here. And I know that it's dangerous to do these sort of things, but hey, we're trying to make a calculated bet at the beginning of the season to get some odds here. So a game at home against the Giants to start. Titans got to win that game, and I think that they can. At the Buffalo Bills. I mean, that's a tough game. You can't call that a win, but I think the Titans are at 1 win right now. Home for the Raiders. I think the Titans win that game. That's 2. At Indy, let's even say they lose. At Washington, I think that's a win. We're up to 3. At home against Indy, that has to be a win for the Titans. Let's say 4. At the Houston Texans, most people expect the Titans to win that game right now. 5. At KC, I'll say no. Denver Broncos at home. That's going to be a big matchup there. But let's say the Titans win that one. That's 6 wins right there. At Green Bay, we'll call it a loss. Home against Cincy, I'll be fair and call it a loss. One of those Cincy-Denver games could go the wrong way. So we're at 6 wins. At Philly, I think the Titans have a better quarterback than Philadelphia, and I think that they'll win that game. That's 7. Home for Jacksonville, that's 8. At the Chargers, I'll even say that's a loss. How you feel about that? But Houston, week 16, another win. Dallas, week 17, another win at home on Thursday Night Football. At Jacksonville in week 18. I mean, I could see the Titans having 11 wins. 10 wins is where I really think they land at 10-7. So for me, taking the over there, I think that's a pretty good value, in my opinion, and especially when you're getting better value than the under. You don't want to root for the Titans to go under, and you got to pay 125 to win 100. You're getting bad value, and you're betting on the Titans to lose more games than we want to see. You can't do that. There's value on the over. I believe that the Titans will be 10-7. I think that's where they land, with the possibility to be 11-6. So for me, I'm hitting the over on that one. I'd throw, $50, $100 on that. I'm not a big high rolling gambler. I just like my little piece bets. $100 is about the max that I'll do. But some of you guys who like to dip your toes in a little bit further, I think there's some good value there. And also, the Titans playoff odds are minus 130 for them to make it. So I think it's kind of confusing that Vegas is betting that the Titans go under 10, but also it's minus 130, meaning you'd have to bet 130 to win 100 for them to make the playoffs. So they think the Titans do make the playoffs, but at 9 wins. I find that hard to believe in a competitive AFC. So there's no value with the over, or there's value with the over under, but that's going to mean at some point there's no value on the other side of that coin. And I'm not betting $130 to win 100 that the Titans make the playoffs. I'm not getting enough bang for my buck on that one with the value. I do think the Titans make the playoffs, but not getting a big enough profit there to make it worth it. So I don't see the value there, but in the over 9.5, I do think that's a solid bet for the Titans. But we're going to talk about some other odds that they have. Can the Titans win the Super Bowl? You're going to get some good value there. We'll discuss the AFC. Can the Titans win the conference? Will the Titans win their division? There's some value to be had. We're going to discuss that, and then we'll finish up with some player props, some player awards. I think that some Tennessee Titans have a decent chance to win. Before we get into all of that, though, I do want to tell you guys about the best tasting protein bars of all time from our friends over at Built. We're talking about the Built bars. They give you all the health benefits that you want from a protein bar. You're going to get high protein. You're going to get low calories. You're going to get low sugar. But let's not bury the lead here, guys. The taste, the flavors, they're insane. And right now, Built has combined 2 epic things: the Puff Bars and the all-time favorite, coconut brownie chunk. So now you're going to get the chunk, which gives some good texture, some crunchiness. You get the puff texture in there, which has a marshmallowy consistency with that coconut brownie flavor. I mean, all the bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. Absolutely delicious. Make sure you guys go to built.com right now. Use the promo code LOCKED15. You're going to get 15% off your next order. Once again, that's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at built.com. Titans fans, we are going to continue this Locked On Titans Goes Vegas edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. We just talked about Titans over under, their playoff odds. I thought there was some good value on the over, not as much value on the playoffs, even though I do think the Titans make the playoffs. But now I want to move into some higher level goals here for the Titans than just how many games they win or making it into the playoffs. Let's first talk about winning the AFC South. Before we get into it, I do want to thank you guys again for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first to listen every day. I do want to tell you guys Locked On is doing a cool project. They're partnering with the folks over at betonline.net, where I encourage all of you guys to go if you want to play some of the wagers that we're discussing today. They're going to put out the top 50 NFL players ranked by how they move the betting odds. So the most valuable from a gambling perspective in the NFL. 2 Tennessee Titans show up on that list. One of them, I think, gets a little disrespect. One of them, I think, actually gets a lot of respect. So I hope you guys will check that out. That's going to be out on July the 18th on Monday. Check the Locked On NFL podcast feed. Subscribe to the Locked On NFL podcast anyway, because I host the Thursday show and it's free and you can just show me a little bit of love, a little bit of support. Anyways, moving forward. To win the AFC South, the Titans odds are plus 130. That means you bet $100, you win 130. I think that's good value. The Colts have made that good value. Listen, I still think that the Titans will beat the Colts and win the division. Vegas obviously loves Indy. Of course, who doesn't love Indy? Gross. Always. Always an Indy love fest everywhere you turn. Even though they had Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck for like 25 years and got one championship out of it and forced Luck to retire. But yes, we love Indy. Oh, Lord. But either way, that love towards Indy has given the Titans better odds on the division. So if you're like me and you think that the Titans will win the division, that's pretty good value there. I mean, it's not a slam dunk home run, but I would rather get more than my bet on my return than the opposite if the odds were the other way, which, in my opinion, they should be, considering that the Titans have won the division 2 years in a row. But whatever. I'm not a handicapper in Vegas, so not my decision there. But hey, to us go the spoils. I'll take the free $30. You know, you get 100, you get 100 back plus that extra 30. Great. I love that value. So bet 100, get 130 back in profit. Even if you want to go a little less, like 50, still going to get some good value there. I like that bet. And of course, if you're somebody who, like I said, likes to go a little crazier, feel free. Feel free, but always gamble responsibly. I gotta say, anytime there are any gambling advertisements on any podcast or anything, they do like 2 minutes of phone numbers for people to call. I feel like we got to find a way as an industry to wrap that up a little bit quicker. But moving forward, I think there's good odds there. But if you really believe in the Tennessee Titans this year and you really want to get some good value, folks, I got the place to do it. For the Titans to win the AFC, so to go to the Super Bowl from the AFC, you're getting plus 1,500 odds. You could bet $100 and win $1,500. I mean, if you really believe that this is the year the Titans go through, yeah, they traded A.J. Brown, but the roster's better overall. The defense is going to be the 85 Bears. Whatever you guys think, this is the value. I mean, these next two are just, like, for me, I think if you want to be conservative, but, you know, still have some skin in the game, throw $50 on the Titans to win the AFC. You win $750 if they do, and it'll be the best thing that's happened in over 20 years for all of us. So I like those little piece bets personally. You know, just throw $50 on something that is kind of a long shot and see what happens. You're not losing too much money, just $50, which I know, depending on your circumstances, can be a lot, but you know, generally speaking, less than a tank of gas. So there you go. To win $750 and root for the Titans to go to the Super Bowl like you're going to anyways. Double down. But those Super Bowl odds obviously get even better. For the Titans to win the Super Bowl, plus 3,000. So you bet $100, you win $3,000. I mean, that's pretty great. Again, another, for me, I don't like to throw out Benjis out there. Let's throw a little $50 one on that. So, hey, I throw 50 on the AFC. I throw 50 on the Super Bowl. Could have some good money coming your way. $1,500 plus the $750 is $2,000 for 100 plus 2,000. You know what I mean? Over 2,000. So I'm just saying, you want a little skin in the game. You want to have a little extra fun. You believe in the Titans this year. These are great values for you. I'd hit all three of them. Because if you think the Titans are going to the Super Bowl, they'll probably win the AFC South. So there you go. Those are some values that I see, and those are the odds. They're obviously not as high as we hope that they would be. I'd hope that they'd be better odds because it would mean that the Titans are a better team. But hey, you never really know. The team that's the favorite rarely ever ends up as the team that wins. So especially in football and basketball, yeah, a little different there. But in football, any given Sunday, as they say. So if you really believe in the Titans, there's some good values for you. But I got some player-related bets on some player awards that I think are excellent chances to win some money. Before we get into that, though, do want to tell you guys about the best place to bet on all of this stuff. Our friends over at betonline.net, your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. You can find all the latest sports developments, news, league reviews. They're going to have esports, live betting. They have your favorite Vegas casino games. I mean, literally anything that you could want to wager on, you can find at betonline.net. BetOnline.net. Head to their website today or use your mobile device to learn more about all the trends and all the action. BetOnline, where the game starts. Titans fans, we are going to cap off this gambling edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. We have talked about the over-under, the playoff odds, AFC South winner odds, AFC Conference winner odds, Super Bowl winner odds, talked about the values they would have there because in our eyes, and just like last year, Vegas sees the Titans as a middle-of-the-pack team. If you were somebody who believed in the Titans as one of the best teams in the AFC last year and you put some wagers on the number one seed, on winning the division, all that, well, you got yourself some nice money. So, again, it's just another situation where Vegas and the analytics folks, but nobody ever believes in the Titans. And as bettors, it gives you an opportunity to not only be happy when the Titans win, but also get some good odds on some things. And I think there are really good odds on the next two things that we're going to talk about. Number one, Derrick Henry to be the rushing leader in the NFL in 2022. He's not even number one in the odds. Instantly, you're getting great value. The Titans are still going to be committed to the run. If you're somebody who believes that Derrick Henry is a cyborg, then you know that the injury's not going to slow him down. So you know he's going to get the carries to get there. And if you believe in the talent and you believe in the work ethic and you believe in the longevity and the durability, then Derrick Henry at plus 600 is great odds. It's just great odds. Throw a $50 spot on that. You win $300 just to watch Derrick Henry lead the league in rushing like he did 2 years in a row just a season ago. I mean, I think that might be my favorite bet out of all the ones that we discussed today. That's the one that I feel the best about. I mean, that is such a good bet. And the value of him not even being first. Of course, like I said, bring it back. The Colts love Jonathan Taylor. I get it. He led the NFL last year. So I get it. But man, you're getting odds, Derrick Henry to lead the league in rushing that aren't even the worst odds you got. So I'm loving that personally. And then another one that I really, really like as well. And I know that when I say it, you may be a little scared. But Treylon Burks, Rookie of the Year, plus 800. Okay, look, who always wins Rookie of the Year? Quarterbacks. Kenny Pickett might not even start. We know Malik isn't. Matt Corral. The Panthers just traded for Baker. He got further away from starting. Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder may play some games, I guess. But I don't really see an obvious quarterback that can win it, which means it's probably going to go to a running back or a wide receiver. That makes the bet even better already. And Breece Hall, yeah, but I don't really see any rookie running back with a clear path to Rookie of the Year. So in my opinion, it's going to end up being a wide receiver. And which rookie wide receiver has a clearer path to huge volume than Treylon? Garrett Wilson's got to share with Elijah Moore and Corey Davis. Chris Olave has Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara on his team. And now Jarvis Landry. Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin just got a big deal. They have Logan Thomas. And I'm just not a huge believer in Jahan Dotson anyways. So there's that. Jameson Williams is going to be out some of the year. Drake London in Atlanta, I guess, but he's going to have Marcus or Desmond Ridder throwing to him. So I think Treylon Burks, Rookie of the Year, plus 800. That is great, great value, guys. High likelihood that he could do it. And I think the odds are affected by the asthma thing. with this, early season struggles, I think that the odds have probably come down a little. So I think that's great value on those two player bets. The last one I want to tell you about is Ryan Tannehill to win MVP. That's plus 12,500 odds. I mean, that's great odds. It is, but if anybody wins MVP on the Titans, it would probably end up being Derrick Henry because he rushed for 2,000 yards again. I just don't see an avenue where Ryan Tannehill would have the narrative behind him to win MVP. What, the Titans would have to go 14-3. He'd have to throw for 4,000 yards and, 40 combined touchdowns, something like that. I mean, that would have to happen. And with Todd Downing calling plays, just don't see it. Just do not see it. But anyways, again, like I told you guys, next week, back to 5 episodes per week. We're back, baby. Football is right around the corner. Cannot wait. Make sure you guys stay subscribed to the Locked On Titans podcast, or subscribe for the first time if you haven't already. But that's going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.